Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I'm just giving it a few seconds to let everyone get on board. This is a really unplanned live stream, but Thursdays I like to talk about personal financial planning topics for my business owning clients and viewers out there. So today I threw something together really quickly to go over some of the areas that you should be concerned about, areas that I discuss with my clients. Um, I'm Graham Woods, a financial consultant specializing in business value management and wealth management. Imagine having a clear strategic plan that not only grows your business, but also secures your financial future. I help business owners create, manage, grow, protect, access, and transfer their business value. For example, the Value Builder system has helped businesses increase their value by up to 71% in just 12 months by focusing on key drivers like recurring revenue and customer satisfaction. By integrating business value estimates into comprehensive financial planning, I ensure my clients are well prepared for retirement, estate planning, and any exit strategy they choose. So you can connect with me to learn how we can grow and protect your business value together. So, yeah, I integrate the business value into your personal financial plan. Not a lot of advisors do that, but Um, I consider your business as a business owner one of your largest assets. So it's a part of your investment portfolio. So advisors should be able to look at your business, help you with val- coming up with a valuation of the business and working on growing that value and then getting you access to support your long-term planning. Today I wanted to go over some of the things that we cover when discussing financial planning with our clients, things that go into a personal financial plan, and then areas that we look at when we're talking about implementing strategies to help you with your plan. There are 7 areas, and in my initial financial planning training back in oh a long time ago, I was given the term gritire. Gritire. That's how I remember all of the elements in within the financial plan, and it begins with general principles. All right, and they include things like budget, banking decisions, buy versus leasing a car, buy versus rent a house, home security, travel planning, vacation, and along with budget, we're going to talk about Cash flow. So for some of you, these are the big ones that you need to look at first. And that's why I put this topic first in my list. Your cash flow management, budget, and banking. Because until you look at those things, you can't really do any other planning. Are you going to buy a car? Are you going to buy or rent a house? Home security, travel, planning, and those things. So this is what we look at first. And any advisor, before they make any recommendations on what to do, they're going to get to know you a little bit better. So they want to know these are three things lead them to understanding your income, your expenses, assets, liabilities, insurance, and then understanding your goals and additional resources. Please excuse my spelling. It's atrocious. The best thing that could have happened to me was spell check. You remember when I remember grade school, we had typewriters, and then just as I was getting into fourth grade and they were having us do papers, they introduced the word processor. But then they still didn't really have spell check. At least for me, we bought the cheap word processors. But then when they added spell check, and we got before there was Word Perfect, and it had spell check. That was wonderful for me because I'm an awful speller. I never got good at that. So those are the things your financial advisor should get to know about before they make any recommendations. They have to determine whether or not the ideas that they have are suitable for a person like you in your situation, given these items, your goals, additional resources, and your time horizon. Is this for something that's going to be happening in 20, 30 years, or is this something that you need immediately? That impacts how you can manage your money. What resources you can use to manage your money, because long term you have more options to go with. After general principles, I look at risk management. So of course that's insurance and other topics on risk. Okay. So a lot of people cringe when we talk about insurance, especially life insurance. But we're looking at life, accident, and health insurance, disability insurance, using annuities in your planning. The largest, I'm sure a lot of you don't know, the world's largest annuity is Social Security. Your Social Security is an annuity program. So whether you like it or not, in the United States, if you're a citizen, we are all participating in an annuity in some form or fashion. And annuities are used all throughout finance. Um, so they are a basic part of financial planning. And I would never say there's a good product or bad product. The idea is which product is best for your goals and for your plan. So you may not need annuities, or you may need annuities. An annuity, a specific annuity may be good for your plan. It may be bad for your plan. It all depends. Depends on all those other items I said that a financial advisor needs to know about you before they can make any recommendations. We also have property and casualty insurance. Okay. And property and casualty, we're looking at homeowners insurance, rental insurance, auto insurance, umbrella coverage, uh, liability, different types of liability insurance. Um, and it really depends. Your financial planner and your financial advisor should really take a look at your total financial situation and do a risk analysis. Identify where all of your exposures are and how much. So the how big of a potential loss. If you have a bicycle and a tree falls on your bicycle, that's not as big of an exposure as if a tree falls on your car. If you're making, if you have a salary of $200,000 a year, then a tree falling on your bicycle, that's not something you're gonna consider uh, something that you need to really worry about too much. But if your bicycle is your only form of transportation to work every day, and you're not making that much money, then maybe keep your bicycle in a garage so that a tree branch doesn't fall on it and damage it. Or make sure that you pay attention to the road as you're riding your bike so that you don't hit any potholes and damage the wheels. Because then the risk for you and your exposure is much greater uh, compared to your level of income and your personal resources. So we look at insurance, but then you also saw that in or heard in that bicycle example that risk management can also mean, hey, where do we store things to protect our assets? Where are we storing our assets? So we need to look at all of your assets and liabilities and identify where the risk is, the magnitude of that risk. Are you living in a flood zone? Do you live on the beach? Do you live in the mountains? Is there a lot of snow in the winter? Um, do you have children? Are you in a close neighborhood and your children like to play baseball in the backyard and they never, for some reason, have control of that baseball and it goes through your neighbor's window? How are you managing that type of risk? And even going back to security, so home security systems and uh, managing the different contracts, looking at your lease agreements, whereas the risk, uh, who's responsible for what in your rental agreement with your landlord, or who's responsible for what in your lease agreement for your car, because damage to your car, that is a risk, and the magnitude of that risk can be very high. But if that damage is taken care of by the dealership, the car company, then that's a way to manage your risk. So we can manage risk through your contracts. We can manage risk through the actions that you take, placing your bike in the garage or parking your car in the garage during the winter, during snowstorms, rather than out uh, exposed to the weather. And we can manage it by insurance. Sometimes insurance can be the cheapest way to manage risk, which is we're sharing risk. We're giving some of it to the insurance company so that if something happens, the insurance company pays for part of it. So risk management, and that is an important part. It's something that maybe should be considered before you really get into anything like investments or retirement or anything like that. Because if you don't manage risk, one bad incident could destroy those plans, and it's not worth it. Okay, I'm trying to set these so that they stand out a little bit. There we go. All right, let's see. The next one is education, and depending on your familial status or where you are in your life, I also add career under that. So the education could be for your children, grandchildren, or for you. Continued education. Um, I help one client finance grad school through savings. So that's pretty straightforward in terms of what the education and career planning and all of that is. It's not so straightforward in the actual financial planning for that. So if you're talking about college education, and you start saving for your kid to go to college, when you start saving has a huge impact on how you're going to save and how much you can save. So if you start, your kid is 2 years old, you start then, you got a lot of time to close the gap between what you have and what you need to pay for schooling. And then education planning covers a lot of different parts of schooling, from grade school to college to trade school. So that people that are saying, hey, you know what, maybe my kid isn't going to go to college. College isn't for them. I'd like them to go to trade school though. How do I help them figure out how to pay for that? And it's not always about you paying for it, but it's you helping your kids figure out how to pay for it in general. So I know in undergrad, I went to Temple University, and uh, I'd say 90% of the students lived off campus, and a huge portion of them had part-time jobs and were financing Temple University through their part-time work. Um, so it's not everybody is going. Very few people get scholarships and all these other wonderful things to help pay for school. Most of us had to go and work. So, but it's easier on the kids, easier on you if we start thinking about how we're going to do this now, then wait until freshman year or whatever your education is going to be to start that planning then. Okay. So when is the best time to start saving? It's always now, not later. So then we have tax. Financial advisors don't really do a lot of tax uh, advice. But taxes are involved in all aspects of planning. All of what I've mentioned so far, and then even in investment planning, retirement planning, and estate planning. So there is some tax advice intertwined, but when it comes to actually paying taxes, preparing your tax returns, uh, uh, and coming up with more specific tax strategies, it's best to talk to a CPA. even a CPA that might be a financial planner or a tax preparer, enrolled agent, an accountant, someone that's more familiar on the taxes side. Financial planners will go over some tax ideas, some tax strategies, especially as they relate to these other areas of financial planning. And when it comes to business, if you're selling a business or you're operating a business, then there's tax concerns for you. Real estate, if you're investing in real estate, there's some ways that we can help you manage the taxes, and we can also drive you to the right advisors to help you manage those taxes. Okay. Investments. So I like to look at the entire financial picture of a client. Your business, your cash available, your retirement plans, your insurance, your assets, all of these things are a part of your investment portfolio, in my mind. They all entail risk. A lot of them have some form of return involved, and they all impact your investments in the future as well. I specialize with dealing with business owning clients, and I also look at the business as an investment and how they can manage that investment to either grow or gain access to liquidate that investment so that they can use it for their financial planning goals. But when we look at investments, the basics is dealing with your risk tolerance, um, the riskiness of the investments that you're using, the returns, and we look at financial planners tend to look more toward goals, return goals, or your financial goals, and what types of returns do we need to help you achieve those goals or get close to those goals. So we're not trying to hit it out of the park and do anything crazy. Financial planners are really boring. We like boring investments to help you achieve your plan, not not look like we're on Wall Street, um, playing with the bigwigs on Wall Street. One part about investments is we help our clients develop an investment policy statement, which is it helps the client really understand how their investments should work. Um, and then it also is like an instruction uh, letter that they can give to their investment advisors, to the asset managers, to give instruction on these are the types of investments. This is the type of risk I'm willing to take. These are the type of returns I need to achieve my goals. So this is what I want you to do with my investments. We put an investment policy statement in with your business and dealing with investments. We put an investment policy statement in with. I've worked on some for nonprofits to help them manage their investments. We do an investment policy statement for separate types of investments. So if you have a emergency fund versus your retirement fund, the investment strategies may be different, especially if retirement is 30 years away, but emergency, you're planning for something that might happen tomorrow. Let me put that in there. In risk management, I like to talk about the emergency fund in risk management. Retirement. That's a big one. So a lot of business owners don't really think about retirement, especially if you love what you're doing. They're like, I'm going to keep working until I can't work anymore. And then there's a lot of business owners that are doing this so that they can retire comfortably. They're saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to push as hard as I can, build this business, and get as far as I can, and then sell it or transfer it to my kids or do whatever. I'm going to liquidate so that I can live comfortably in retirement. Wherever you're coming from, even if you're not in business, it's good to start planning for your retirement early on, because what you need for retirement is not just a single number. It's a combination of things, combination of your health costs, living costs, retirement activities, lifestyle. Um, how do you want to live in retirement? Your longevity. When we talk about retirement, we start talking to people about longevity risk. So life insurance covers if you die now, if you die too soon. In retirement, annuities cover if you live too long. I know that's a funny concept, living too long, but the idea is you don't want to outlive the money that you have. So what we like to do is we like to say, hey, you know what? When is retirement going to happen? How many years do we think you're going to live in retirement? And how much are you going to spend each year in retirement? We come up with a lump sum that you're going to need to have on the first day of retirement, and then how that lump sum is going to get spent through the years of retirement. There's something in finance called future value of money. Money value is money today is worth more than money later on, and it has to do with risk and other costs involved. But what we do is we take the money that you're going to need in retirement, each of those years in retirement, we discount that money to the day you retire. So discounting is we take that value in reverse and come up with a lump sum of what you need. So you're still going to have investments for during retirement, but you won't access that money until that year, 10 years later, that year that you need it. And then we further discount that money, the pot of money that you're going to need on the first day of retirement. We further discount that to today. And we try to determine how much you need to invest each year to achieve that goal of that pot of money that we think you're going to need for your retirement. So having a discussion about retirement today is really important for us to be able to plan. Are you going to be that person that goes to the World Cup regularly, and you want to make sure that you have money in your account, in your retirement accounts, to go to have those vacations regularly? Are you going to have your home in retirement? Are you going to own a home? Are you renting a home in retirement? How much is that going to cost you? Are you going to have enough equity to do some type of reverse mortgage in retirement that will help pay for retirement? What are all your resources that you're going to have available to you when you reach your retirement? How does your insurance work? Some annuities are forms in the way that they have a specified period where they pay out income on a regular basis for maybe just a few years, 10 years. Some have lifetime payments. Some have a specific period of payments and then a lump sum at the end. Sometimes it's a death benefit. In retirement, we also like to talk about long-term care and what your plans are for that. And long-term care is a whole nother topic that we need to spend an entire session on. And it's something that is, if you're in your 50s, we should be talking about. I like to bring it up to everyone that's in their 40s, saying, hey, you know what? In a couple of years, you're going to want to start thinking about long-term care insurance, and how we're going to pay for it. Because long-term care insurance is cheapest when you're young. The closer you get to the time where you might need long-term care insurance, the more expensive it's going to be, because the older you are, the more likely you're actually going to need it. So in retirement, we talk about how we're going to pay for long-term care insurance, long-term care, what the plan is going to be. And there's different long-term care ways to fund or finance long-term care. So there's alternative long-term care insurance options. Yeah. So retirement is such a big topic that there are advisors that their focus is 100% retirement. They don't talk about anything else. When you look at some of the financial planning software that we use, a lot of that software is focused mostly on the retirement planning goal. I've had the hardest time finding financial planning software that works for the way I work with my clients, because they're all focused on retirement. Meanwhile, I'm saying, hey, you know what? My clients, they're business owners. They have immediate financial planning and management needs. I need software that can help me with that. So you should really, if anything, if you want to talk about any of these other things with your financial advisor, you need to talk to someone about retirement and retirement planning. And some of you, I know you're using, you might be teachers or professors, and you have your plan in TIAA-CREF, and TIAA-CREF has a good reputation. But in my experience, a lot of these retirement planned companies, whether it's a pension or whether it's a 401k, defined contribution plan or defined benefit plan, these companies help you save, but they don't give advice on how much you should be saving, where you should be saving it, and then what to do when you get to retirement. So you need to talk to a financial advisor about that, because these companies don't provide that information. All right. So let's what we're doing here. We got to get rid of this highlight. And then now we get to the estate plan. So a couple of weeks ago, before the new year, before the holidays, I did a video on what to do in case of the death of a loved one, in case of the death of a loved one who owns a business. I covered a lot of the topics in estate planning for business owners. We look at business continuation and business continuity, which is also risk management. Business continuity. What happens if there's an emergency? If you were in Florida during the hurricanes and your business is interrupted due to the hurricane, what do you have in place to manage that business to keep it going? This impacts your estate plan, because if your business doesn't survive that one event, then your business isn't going to be there for your estate plan. What happens in terms of disability of the owner or disability of key people in your business? Will your business survive? So business continuity planning and risk management is a part of your estate plan. And then business continuation. So what do you plan on doing? Are you going to transfer the business to heirs? Sell the business? Are you going to raise capital and just liquidate your position? But you want to stay in. That's for business continuation. But then what happens if you die? So what is in your plan if you die? Okay. And this is important beyond if you die, if you have a disability and you can no longer work. Okay. My grammar is atrocious here. We like to talk about, in terms of exit planning, we like to talk about the dismal D's: death, disability, divorce, disagreement among partners, disagreements. Ugh. Come on. Thank you, Microsoft. Disagreement among partners. There's one more: death, disability, divorce, disagreement among partners, and I forget the other D, but it's if you just get tired of it all, you want to have a plan for your business before you get burnout. Because once you have burnout, that's when the value of your business starts to decrease. You stop working at the intensity level, the degree of intensity and degree of professionalism that you had when you were excited about the business. So you want to have a plan in place before you have any kind of burnout or something like that. So I put up a QR code. If you want to get a benchmark valuation of your business, if you have a business, and a score on the quality of your business operations and your value score, and to get an idea of what you can do to help improve your business, increase its value, and start planning for any of these things. You can use that QR code and get your score right now. If you have any questions for me, you can always reach out. You can email me. Message me on LinkedIn. If you message me on LinkedIn, I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring the conversation to email. So I'm not trying to. I don't want to talk about if it comes to securities and investments. I don't want to talk about any of that on LinkedIn. We need to set up a meeting and probably talk about it in person by Zoom. Okay. So that's retire. General principles, risk management, education, taxes, investments, retirement, and estate planning. And the financial certified financial planning framework, general principles, they define it differently, but in terms of how I put together a financial plan for my clients, these are general principles to me. All right. And then risk management is so important, and insurance is so important to protect what you have before we talk about growing and getting along in the future. All right. Thank you for joining me today, everyone. This is it. Again, I'm Graham Woods. I'm a financial consultant specializing in business value management and wealth management. And if you want to get your score, you can just use the QR code in the top left-hand corner of the screen. And I look forward to seeing you next Thursday for personal financial planning topics. And next Tuesday, I'm gonna do a book review. There's two books I want to talk to you about, and then I also want to talk to you about setting up some type of book club for CEOs and founders, and so maybe something separate from Boss Moves for CEOs and founders. If any of you would be interested in that, feel free to contact me, make suggestions on books that we can include in a program like that. If you're interested, if you're not interested, then hey, tell me hey, no one wants to do this, and I won't bother. We'll see. So we'll see you next Tuesday for there's two books I want to review for um, business value management, and then next Thursday we'll cover more topics in financial planning. Maybe we'll go into more detail on each of these different areas of financial planning as I see it. Thank you. Happy New Year again. Have a great week. And it's Thursday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week.